like to invite first Agam Upadhyay to the stage. Agam is SVP Chief Technology Officer of GSK. Thank you, Agam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Agam, GSK, and you hardly need an introduction, but for the global audience, maybe we start if you introduce yourself in GSK.
Sure. So my name is Agam Upadhyay. I'm Chief Technology Officer at GSK, previously known as GlaxoSmithKline. So GSK is one of the top pharma companies, and we unite science, technology, and talent to fight against the disease together. That's what we do. And we use science of immune system, human genetics, and technology, and focused on 4 core therapeutic areas: HIV, infectious disease, respiratory, immunology, and oncology. That's what we do. And 70,000 of us are present in 80 countries. And every day, we just woke up to be ambitious for our patients and do the right thing because everybody's counting on us.
Fantastic. In your role, you see such a huge part of the world and probably every system that was ever invented. Tell us what is on your top agenda.
Yeah, so look, being a pharma company, I think top of our agenda is actually R&D pipeline. So what we have done is we're supercharging R&D pipeline using data. So we're doubling down on data, analytics, machine learning, obviously AI.
Yeah.
Along with it, basically core foundational element of building our cloud system. So GSK, by end of next year, will not have any data centers. We'll be running completely on public cloud.
Yeah.
And I think that's the core foundational element for us to get to the innovation that we want and so forth. Along with, there's many things happening in terms of what we are doing in our generative AI aspect of it, and also hyperautomation. That's one of the key priorities as well, to drive the automation across the organization and get the best value out of it.
Tell us more what hyperautomation means. It's one of those words. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, so look, I come from the background where, and this is Agam's playbook,
Yeah.
which I always use it. I believe in a connected ecosystem. And I think most organizations, if you look at it, and if you look at the history of technology evolution, you will see it, that most organizations actually who able to create connected ecosystems sustain longer, and you get the most value out of it. So what we are doing in GSK, the GSK is to kind of bringing in all the individual tools and platforms together, to integrate them, to create the ecosystem where we are providing the most value, and 1 + 1 = 3, rather than individual tracks running on their own.
Yeah.
There's one part of it. And I think you covered other part, which is how to really bring the operating model in such a manner where we create a center for enablement, where we build the right processes, we provide the consultative services to all the businesses, because this is no longer a technology project or program. This has to be adopted and run by business. So enable the business, and more importantly, create this federated environment where this innovation is happening outside of technology as well. So I'm a very, very, very proponent, and always recommend that we create the ecosystem platform approach, and then create the operating model to decentralize and kind of drive the innovation at the business level.
Empower everybody, and
Everybody.
they'll find a way to make best use of the technology and bring governance and security to it.
Absolutely.
I've heard of GiGi. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, so GiGi is something I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
My team, and some of them are here in the crowd as well. So GiGi came after ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was obviously, look, we all have been working on AI for many, many years. I think ChatGPT just made it it's like almost every household discussion.
Yeah.
So when we looked at it, and immediately the idea came together that how can we create a ChatGPT for GSK? So GiGi is actually a ChatGPT for GSK that does a lot of human response type Q&A, but also do general tasks and so forth. That was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
But then what happened later on was, as we started delving into it, we realized that, if we can go to the next slide, we realized that we can actually build the capabilities, right? And capabilities could be documents creation, capability could be how to knowledge synthesis and so forth. Using those capabilities, then we said, okay, what are the use cases, right? And if you look at it here, what we are trying to do it is every color coded has a capability, and this is just the beginning of it, by the way. And then we said, okay, on the top layer, we'll create some sort of a user experience. In terms of today, it's web-based, but how can we bring the app-based, or create the connectors and APIs and so forth to get the most value out of it? Now, think of like this. In the large organization like GSK, and especially with very highly compliant and so forth, we have, and you talked about it, so many systems. And people have been trying to do this for so long, how to integrate and get the automation and get the most value out of it. So we built this as a digital assistant for our organization, which means every employee at some point of time will have, if you go to the next slide, because we have a lot of system of records. All of us have, right? So we talked about 500 applications, 5,000 applications, so forth, and so as we. Think about the layer of applications that are out there that we use. We use for our compliance training, we use for our approvals, we use it for our even searching for R&D molecule and so forth, right? Then think about all these LLM models. Now, the LLM models that are foundational model that we all have, all the companies, right? Then we have all the co-pilots, as you said, you have, and then more the merrier, all of it. If we don't have a proper governance, and if we don't have this integration layer, then my worry is it will create, again, that sprawl of things that we have to control, and the technical debt and issues and so forth. So we are now using this method, and which started with a very small program, to now expand it, where we have on the top layer, GiGi will work as our interaction layer with all the automation and so forth. Underline, we'll build this integration layer in the middle of it, and the underline, we have all the system of records that can be used. And on the side, we'll connect every single LLM, whether it's foundational built by us, or whether we use leverage separately.
It's amazing to see in a company as old as GSK, you're reimagining the whole operating model of how it should work in the future.
Thank you. No, it's amazing. I mean, I'm very proud of it. And look, I think, and Mihir and I, we talk about all the time, it is so important to, where we are in terms of our journey, where we are in terms of what, as technologists in technology field, and especially like I can tell easily with pharma organization, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, this is a time to just unleash the power of technology that we have and go as bold as you can.
So let me put it in my words. So is it fair to say your struggle is, again, between all these hundreds and thousands of applications? And if I understood it right, you're bringing many of them, including some co-pilots together under something that can fit across entire application.
Exactly. That's what we're trying. And look, I mean, this is not going to be an easy journey because what you're gonna face a lot of issues, you're gonna face a lot of hurdles and so forth. But have a grand vision and then execute it.
There you go. Tell me, what's the vision of the future? Paint a picture for us 2 years from now, 3 years from now. What do you say?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that like in many of our, if you look at the history, there's a time before silicon and after silicon. There was a life before, iPhone and after iPhone.
That's right.
I think this is where it's going to be life before generative AI and after generative AI. I'm very, very convinced that I think our ways of working, our opportunities, and the way the business is done, forget about technology part of it. That landscape is changing, but the way the business is done, and you can pretty much take every company in terms of pharmaceutical or CPG or take any pieces. It will change the roles, it will change the jobs, it will change the business outcome. It will just make us a lot more efficient and faster to get to it. Because, look, in pharma industry, I can tell you one thing. It takes about 7 to 8 years, about $2 to $3 billion to discover one molecule. We just came out of pandemic. We didn't have 10 years.
That's right.
And we didn't have that much. Like, we need to move fast. The only way to break that cycle is to just leverage this the piece that we have right now with us in terms of technology and data.
Thank you so much, Agam, for coming us and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.